All right. Okay. Am I doing it right? Do you see my screen, the slides? Can you hear me?
Yes. Great.
Okay. So
yeah,
let me start from here. Okay. Hello, everyone. And I'm Makimi Kano. I'm a professor at Kyoto Sangyo University. I work for Faculty of Culture. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to talk to you today. I'm a corpus linguist. So my goal today is to give you better understanding of corpus tools so that you can make use of them in making your material or assessing your classroom materials. A corpus is a collection of text that have been sampled and stored from the actual language, as you probably know. And there are many kinds of it. American English corpus, British corpus, and newspaper corpus, or historical, or child speech corpus, or learner corpus, and others, some specialized corpus compiled by researchers of particular interest. I use this corpora to analyze the linguistic features of English, such as changes in vocabulary, how the vocabulary change over time. And I teach English too, so I am interested in the reading materials students have to deal with in classrooms. So I do a lot of linguistic analysis of the reading material, and sometimes compile my own corpora too. So university students deal with various types of English reading materials throughout their university years. It starts already even before they enter the university with the entrance exam, when they usually have to take English test with reading passages. Then no matter what the faculty they're applying for, they have to take English test at least. And most of the university students have required English class and some elective classes to take and use the textbook written for their level. In those courses, some students are required to participate in extensive reading program. So possibly graded reader are their reading materials too in their first couple of years of university. And in their later years, they are required to read more advanced materials such as newspaper article or academic papers for their research field. But there seems to be a huge gap between the material students read in their required English course and the authentic English material they have to deal with in their seminars and for their graduation thesis. Then I thought what actually students are reading over the years. We make students read various materials in various classes, but what are they actually? Why do students find some material difficult and others manageable, at least, if not easy? How are they different? Yes?
Your slides are not changing.
Oh, okay, I'll change it soon.
Okay, okay.
I may be talking too much introduction.
No. I thought, I was thinking maybe you, it wasn't working.
Yeah, I was thinking too. Okay, let me finish this introduction. So, of course, some students think some materials is difficult or easy, depending on the genre of their reading or the familiarity to the topic. But there must be some linguistic characteristics, features to the type of materials there that makes them easy or difficult for students to read. Okay, so today's talk is about the analysis of reading materials university students deal with in their university years. but I will just very, very briefly introduce the concept of corpus linguistics first, and then go on to the and show the examples of the reading material analysis. Today, I want to use the concept of keyness and structural complexity to show the characteristics. The reading material I included in today's talk is extensive reading material and entrance exam reading passages. I think most of the people here today are either familiar with or at least know about extensive reading. I compiled a reader's corpora using graded readers that we use in our extensive reading program, and other type of readers that are written for young readers of English native speakers, either called young readers or youth literatures or something like that. Entrance examination passages are taken from our university entrance exam for past 10, 12 years, and I compiled a small corpus. And I would like to talk a little bit about useful tools that everyone can use as I show the result of analysis, and some new very useful corpus for non-corpus linguistics available, so I want to talk about that too. And in the end, I would like to briefly mention our current project of bridging the gap between extensive reading material and authentic text. I hope I have time for that too. Okay, here are some basic concepts of corpus linguistics. Corpus linguists use concordancer, a tool called concordancer, to search for words and show it in a quick display, keyword in context display, count frequency, and find out collocation and n-grams. All these are very basic concepts of corpus linguistics, but we don't go over this one by one today because we want to focus on something else that are more useful to English teachers. And one concept that many English teachers may find useful is, and they may use it already, is word level. Word level is determined of the frequency the corpus find in English or in any language. So a lot of studies have been done on English vocabulary, and a lot of words have been, a word list had been created, such as here I listed BNC word list, or BNC/COCA, it's Contemporary American English Corpus, or very traditional general service list, academic word list, and for Japanese students, we have JASET 8000. And we can see text word level easily by checking the vocabulary in the text against these files. It is usually divided into 1,000 words, divided by 1,000 words, where the most frequent first 1,000 is the most basic words, and next 1,000 is the second basic words, and so on. I think many of you know and use some kinds of vocabulary profilers, but here I show a website called Complete Lexical Tutor, vocabulary profilers. And the other one I showed in this slide, and Word Profiler, does the same job, but it's downloadable app that you can work on your PC. So recently I read the article on New York Times website about COP26, the climate change summit. So I checked the vocabulary level of that article. So this is the Complete Lexical Tutor website. It looks quite busy, but all you have to do is copy and paste the text into the slot in the middle, or if the file the text is big, you can upload the file at the bottom and you can see the result right away like this. So this is a screenshot of the result of the article I read. And here, first 1,000, if you can look at the right end, you can see the percentage of the coverage of each 1,000 words. So it is usually generally said that first 1,000 words cover more than 80% of the written or spoken text, and 2,000 and 3,000 level covers up to 90% of general English. So looking at this, it may be a bit difficult, vocabulary-wise difficult passage, because the first 1,000 covers a little lower than 80%. And the same analysis is done for the entrance examination reading passage. And if you turn to the result of my entrance examination reading passage corpus, the first 1,000 coverage is over 80%. And the 3,000 word level, it goes over 95. So we can say it's relatively easy passages as far as vocabulary is concerned. This is natural because there is a vocabulary level policy for the entrance examination. We use only 2-star or 3-star words in Genius English-Japanese dictionary, and other difficult words are rephrased. So vocabulary range is quite limited. And if you look at the word level of graded readers, I made, this corpus is made of the popular readers among our students. So we collected the readers looking at the circulation of the library. So those are the popular, quite low level readers, but first 1,000 word already covers over 95%. So you can easily tell the vocabulary level is quite strictly controlled in these readers. So these results show the vocabulary level using the list is beneficial function for the teachers. You can check the material to use in the classroom. And it is often a good indicator of the level of the material. However, just knowing what words are used in the text doesn't tell the whole picture of the text. Understanding those words, how they are used, gives you more detailed picture of the text. So here, the idea of keyness comes in. This concept is used to show what is the characteristics vocabulary of the text. The idea is that you take one corpus and compare it with another corpus and find what occurs more frequently in one corpus than in the other, using some kind of statistical calculation. Here's the example. I use a tool called AntConc. It's kind of concordance you can use on your computer. So there's a function called keyword, and if you calculate the keyword using this time like this, likelihood is the statistical index we used, and then it shows graded reader keyness. Keywords are mainly personal pronouns like I, he, you, she, and me, or a very simple words, verbs like said and looked. But this is the, I compared graded reader with American English corpus text. So if I compare graded reader, American English corpus with graded reader, and it shows the keenness of American English corpus against a graded reader. Then you see this list, a lot of preposition and connectors. That means that these words are not in the graded readers. In linguistics term, it's a negative, it's called a negative keyword. So the list of this is, list of the word, negative keyword is the list of words that's not in the reference corpus. In this case, it's graded reader. So graded reader doesn't have these preposition or which or if kind of connectors that makes the relative clause or conditional clause or any kind of clause. And would is another one. So this is the concept of keenness. And here I show an example of young reader, graded reader keenness comparison from my reader corpora research. I thought it might show a graded reader's characteristics better this way by comparing it with the youth reader of the same level than just comparing it with general American corpus, because we already know it's so different. But comparing it with the similar level, we may be able to see the characteristics better. So my reader corpora consists of two sections. One is graded reader, 300,000 words compiled from the popular readers. And the level is 1 to 4. I'll show the level charts. And youth reader corpus is compiled to have a good, so that we can compare it with graded reader. So it has the same size and it contains the same level of readers. So these are the list. I don't know if you can read the small letters, but when I said it's between level 1 to 4, these famous graded readers are included, and youth readers levels are determined separately, but somewhat compared and determined this way. So these readers are used for analysis. And I did the same keenness analysis with Ant Kong and found these are the keenness keywords of youth readers. So that means these words are lacking in graded readers. It shows some of the functional words are underused in graded readers. But if you look into how these words are used in graded reader and youth reader, it shows how limited the usage of these words in graded reader is. Let's take a look at some of the words usage and how different they are in graded reader and youth readers. So the first word is been. In graded reader, been is only used as in have been to or there has been, and some very minor ones. But in youth reader, in addition to these, it was used in past perfect tense or perfect progressive, combination of perfect and progressive, or perfect and passive voice, or combined with auxiliary verb. Even shows a similar tendency, and graded reader, in graded readers, even emphasize on subject, verbs, and comparatives only, but in youth reader, it emphasize conjunctions like even if, or preposition, even in, even without, or some of the very complex structure like have never even been named, past, perfect, negative, passive voice, plus even. It's quite complicated. And if is another one. I skipped the one. If, where is it? If is another one. And it's mainly used conditional clause connectors in graded readers, but in youth readers there are a lot more other ways they use if only, even if, as if, and don't care if, and others. I wonder if. Would is the last one I show here. In graded reader, even though it's not really low frequency, it has appeared in graded reader corpus often, but the usage was limited only to would like or would you like. But in youth readers, and would, of course, would have very different ways to use in story. They talk about past habits, or if we combine with negative, we show refusal. Or unexpectedness, why would you? So all these different ways of usage of would didn't appear in graded reader. So as you can see, detailed analysis, if you look into what's actually there, show how limited the usage of these words in graded reader is, and even when we compare it with youth reader of the same level. And another way to understand the nature of the text is to look into the structure of the sentence. With keyness function that we just saw, we looked for the characteristic words or negative keywords and analyzed the words to find the complexity of the usage. But if you can directly access to the structure of the sentence in the corpus, we can find the structural complexity more easily. And relatively new corpus tool called Lanxbox make it possible. Oops, I jumped again. So Lanxbox is a concordancer, but it's a powerful tool. You can compile a corpus with it easily and do all sorts of concordances functions in very neat way without having to do a lot of work. So it's a very useful tool for non-linguists. You don't have to know much about corpus linguistics. And you can even provide a research report after all these analysis and write up a report in Word file or HTML format. So you only have to add your analysis to the interpretation to the report, and the paper is almost ready. And here I want to use the function called smart searches. And smart searches is a very useful function, and especially for the people who are not familiar with corpus linguistics, because usually if we want to search for the structure, you have to know these part of speech tags. So if we want to look for adjectives, you have to know the tag of the adjective. Or if you want to look for the structure of passage, you have to know how you write the structure of passive voice in a special language called regular expression. So you don't have to do that with this special smart search function. You just type the passive in uppercase letters, and then they do all the other searches for you. So here, I picked adjective, modal, passive and perfect infinitive as an example. But I picked adjective and modal. It's actually not a structure itself. I'm just picking up the adjective, all the adjective from the corpus, or modal auxiliary verb from the corpus. But this can make the sentence more complex. So I included these, and then passive and perfect infinitive, to plus have plus past participle, shows quite a complex structure. So I try today these four structure in smart searches. So this is the smart search result of these four structures. And I used Brown corpus as a standard corpus of English, just for convenience. It is quite old, first American corpus compiled in early era of Corpus Linguistics, but the size is relatively small, so it's easy to deal with. So I use that for convenience today. And I used the examination passage corpus and graded reader corpus and compared them in the frequency of these structures. This number is shown in frequency per 10,000 words. So if you look at the Brown corpus passive, occur 131 times. That means it happened 131 times per 10,000 words. So if you compare these, you can tell the difference between Brown corpus and graded readers. So all the passive, perfect infinitive, adjective used are all much higher frequencies in Brown corpus and frequencies much lower in graded readers. This shows that graded readers are written in much simpler English. The entrance examination corpus shows the quite similar result as Brown corpus, except in passive voice. So we may be able to conclude the examination passage is more like Brown corpus, more like general English, except some simplified structure like less passive voice. And as we saw already in word level, we have quite limited word level. So the word level is easier and with some less complicated structures, but it's more like general English. And as you can see, a modal auxiliary part, the graded reader have about the same frequency as American corpus, but as we already saw in the case of wood, the frequency is high, but it may be used only in a few very simple way. Again, so we still have to look into more details. It's important always look into the details, not just trust the number, the frequency. So in the end, I think I'm running out of time. I already talked more than 25 minutes. The last part is our ongoing project. Our current project is to find something in between the extensive reading material or school classroom textbook and the authentic text. As I said at the beginning of the talk, there seems to be a gap between what university students read in their first years and what they have to deal with in their seminars and graduation project in later years. So we find these native speaker reluctant readers or slow readers, such as quick reads, rapid reads, and high-low books, quite possible candidate for that position. We haven't finished compiling all these books and make it a one corpus, but I have a limited size of corpus and I did analysis same as the one I just did for graded reader and examination corpus. And it seems that these series nicely fit in that gap. I'll show you the result here. It's just a tentative result, but rapid reads corpus, very small size, goes right in between graded reader and Brown corpus. So if students have opportunity to read these books before go on to more specific ones, more difficult ones, it may help them develop their reading skill in a smoother way. And we are hoping we can publish the final result of the reluctant readers analysis next year, and hoping to try experimental session with students if they feel it's difficult or easy or helpful or not. So that's about it. If you're interested in Lanxbox that I talked about today, there's a book and a website that offers a lot of statistics tools available. And then if you're interested in using Corpus tools and resources for your classes, this is a book, great book to start. So if you, just for the people who are interested in using Corpus in linguistics a little bit in the classroom. Okay, that's all from me, and thank you for listening. Sorry, it's almost 30 minutes already.
That's okay.
Or
No,
more than 30 minutes.
If everyone could unmute and give Professor Kano a round of applause. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat or feel free to speak.
Yeah, very quick question, Kano Sensei. Can you show, you showed the two books. Can you show the first book again?
Okay, this one?
Yeah.
Yes, that one, thank you. Sorry, I was about to screenshot that.
Yeah, well, even if you don't have the book, there's you can download the app and use it right away. It comes in with a detailed guidebook, so you can start using it right away.
Nice.
And I find this one quite powerful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and sharing your research. I'm interested to know how the reluctant readers are handling the
Right, we are excited to see the results of it's how nicely it fits in between. So I hope we can try other structures or other vocabulary tests and things like that and show the concrete result soon.
It's quite good. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Any questions? No.